Hello, this is Gregory Daniel Ziegler, and today I'm going to show you how to do the VPN tunnel lab. So the first step here is to configure the three images through VirtualBox in order to configure the lab correctly. This took a little bit of work, but I finally got it to work. So what you have to go on VM, and for host U, you got to make sure that for the network, it has one adapter only, and it's through the NAT network. And this is for host U, the host U image. For the VPN server image, you're going to do two connections. One adapter is going to be through the NAT, so the VPN server can communicate with host U. Then you can enable a second adapter called the internal network. And that is going to allow VMs. And this is going to be how you're able to communicate from the VPN server to host V. And lastly, for host V, you're going to have one adapter, which will be the internal network, and the internal network only. So host V cannot communicate with host U and vice versa. Because these host V and host U have to be logically two distinct separate networks for this lab to work. So again, feel free to pause the video. Just went through one more run through. Host U with one adapter through the NAT network. The VPN is going to have two connections. A NAT network connection, and then an internal network connection. Against the server, it's connecting host V to it, then host U to it. Therefore, we need two connections. Then lastly, for host V, there's only one connection, and that'll be through the internal network. And to make sure that there are two distinct networks, I'm going to, from host U, I'm going to ping the server through its NAT connection, which is the 10.0.2.6, 16 rather, that NAT IP address, and I should get a reply, which I do. So now, to make sure the server communicates with host V, it's going to ping host V's IP address. And I should get a reply, which it does. And then now, last but not least, host V should not get a reply when it pings host U should not get a reply when it pings host V. And as you can tell, it's kind of hanging. It's not getting packets back. So those three steps, those three pings, demonstrate that we set the network correctly, and we're ready to continue to task 2 of this lab. So just give me one small break. So for task 2, we're going to create and configure a tune interface. So what we're going to do here is following the PDF. We're going to create a tune interface. So for this to work, we're going to first run this on host U. So from host U, I'm going ahead and write up this code. As a matter of fact, let me just pause the video. So here is my tune.py file, Python file. So that was the first part of task 2. So we wrote the file. So then now all we have to do here is close this out. I'll make this an executable file. Hold on 1 second, I gotta figure this one. Again, my apologies. Turned out I didn't do this thing correctly. So let me go back to this command here, and hopefully it should work. Okay, so the interface name is tune 0. So let's go ahead and do the new terminal. Okay, so there we go. So then now what we've got to do here is change it so interface name is last name. So do that. Just give me 1 second. Sorry about that. So I think for this to work for test 2A changing the name, put my last name where there's a B part here in the IFR, and hopefully if I do this correctly, this should hopefully work. And yeah, change my last name to that. So it's able to do task 2A. So 2A, I'm recording, 2A is completed. So now at this point, the tune interface is unusable. So for this, I am going to change this, and I'm going to do these commands. Sudo well, I'm going to change back to tune. So now, it's the other window. Maybe the menu is working. Now, okay, so now that command work. Then now sudo IP link set the tune 0 up. Now it's up. And an optional choice where I can add to the program. I don't think it's necessary since I already did the command already. But if it makes it easier for you, you can do that. So then now tune 0 is up and has an IP address. So we're good. It's successfully set up. So then now we got to do task 2C, which is to read from the tune interface. So now we go back to the program. So while true, I'm going to get a packet from the tune interface, and we're going to say packet equals os.read tune 2048, and then if true, IP equals IP packet. Print IP dot summary. Okay, so then now back here, cancel this command. Okay, so now that's done. We run the revised code. Now go back here, and I'm going to ping this IP address. Unknown host. So, unknown host. But for this, based here, it couldn't find the host of the IP address. It was able to successfully ping it. However, now let's try pinging something that's internally. That will have a different result. So, based on these two commands that we did, and again, we replaced our while. So, both were unknown hosts based on the code that we did. So anyways, so we did that part of the lab. So let's move on to pass 2D. Just give me 1 second, I have to pause the video. So now we're going to do task 2P, 2D rather, and we're going to So now, this should be able to work as we follow task 2B. Just give me 1 more second. So this works successfully. We should get ICMP response from this ping. And we do get some ICMP responses. So therefore, the thing did work. And again, I'll show you the code that we did here. And it worked. And from there, it did show that we got some ICMP responses for a reply. So we know it worked. if you've managed this incorrectly. Let me try this one more time, see if it worked. Just one moment. So you see here is IACMP responses, so it did work. So the program did work as it should have, based on my code here. So now we're going to do task 3, which is to run the tune_server.py file. For this, should be able to work here. So now let's do one moment. Pause the video and record. Be right back. So now I did the tune.server.py file. So then now this is coded. So then now for this, we're going to run this file. So let's fix a quick error real quick. Alright, the server is now running. So now I'm going to pause the video one last time as I code this part at the end. So now I did the client program, which is this. I was able to change it. So let's see if this works. Turns out I'm missing this UDP, so let's go ahead and make that up. So now this should finally work. Alright, so now both the client and then now the server are both running. So then now let's ping this IP address that's given to us. So let's try, see what the problem is with Wireshark. So as you can tell here, it actually was able to ping it and work. So it actually was able to work. And used the IP address that was given to us. So I was able to ping it, which is a good sign. So now I was able to ping this, and you see you get a bunch of ICM replies from it. Therefore, I'm getting ICMP replies from the host. If it goes to the server, I should be getting replies as well from the server. So I'm getting echo ping requests, so I know it's successful. So those are my labs. Just 1 second, just to make sure. Cancel this. I'm gonna run Wireshark on here, and it should get those ping requests from it. And as you can tell, I'm getting ISP requests from the server. Therefore, I did task 3 successfully. So there it was my lab 3, which is the VPN. Let's make sure I did everything correctly here. So I was able to ping it, and through the tune interface, able to write commands down, and I was able to do this VPN tunnel lab successfully. So again, this is Gregory Daniel Ziegler. This is my VPN tunnel lab. I was able to do all 3 tasks successfully as demonstrated by this video. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.